with written song lyrics that my husband had written out for everyone, like 525,600 nights in our studio apartment, you know, like things like that. And it was amazing. It was amazing.
So we have, I still remember that video. It was like Central Park.
It's epic. It's epic. Yeah.
I also, we're gonna get into how I'm connected to Michelle. There are many connection points, and one specific one is through Soul Camp, and I see various people here that I know from the Soul Camp world. So it's great to see Soul Camp friends in this call. And again, for those of you who are just joining us, if you can share with us your name, where you are in the world, just to get related to where on planet Earth we are all zooming in from. And if you are able to be on video, it really helps to be able to see you. I know that there are various ways in which many of us are multitasking and possibly, you know, walking the dog and the child and jogging and doing cardio and doing deep breathing, you know, and deep journaling while we're multitasking. And can obviously, you know, we accept you and we receive you however you choose to show up in this moment. And it is very helpful for us to actually see faces. So grateful, again, that you are here. Again, an opportunity to introduce yourself into the chat function and say your name, where you are in the world as we settle in. Dear friends. And Patty just disappeared behind some like beach landscape. Okay, there we go.
I'm trying to be cute.
I got it. It's the people who are using the planet Earth backgrounds and then all of a sudden they're like floating in and out of space.
Mm-hmm.
So it is 5:05. Welcome to our Fearless Chat today on Thursday. Thank you so much for being amenable in the shift. As I had shared before, our speaker scheduled to go today, Danielle Christine Toussaint, her father-in-law tragically passed of the coronavirus earlier this week. So we are sending love and thoughts and prayer in whatever way we pray to her and to her family. She is an amazing thought leader, brand storyteller, and she will be, we will be featuring her later on in May, possibly early June, so stay in tune for that. And we, in that moment, had an opportunity to pivot, kickball change, and I immediately called Michelle Goldblum, my dear friend, to come in and lead this conversation. Before we jump into Michelle, we are going to do a little grounding in, and I'm going to introduce Deborah Driscoll, our Fearless Force facilitator, our alumna of our Fearless Force program, to do a little grounding meditation as we get ourselves situated on planet Earth.
Thank you, Eduardo. Welcome, everybody. And we take just a moment. So finding yourself comfortable in whatever that means to you. If it's available for you, just taking the luxury of closing your eyes. And just breathe. Allowing the breath to come in through the nose and out the mouth. And then on your next breath, on purpose, taking a really big, deep breath in through the nose, holding it at the top, and just letting it go and feeling that relief as you let that breath go. How delicious is that? Let's do it one more time. Big, deep breath in through the nose, holding at the top, and fully letting that breath go. And now you have your Zoom choice. You can continue with your big deep breaths and the full letting go, or you could return to your normal breath, but stay connected to your breath. Stay connected to this moment. And I thank you all for choosing this moment for yourself. And we're going to take that thank you into our heart space. So breathing now into your heart space. And if you want to, you could put a hand or both your hands there. And just breathing into that heart space. Our heart that beats and does all this amazing work for us. Now, while you're connected to that heart space and connected to breath, just bring to the corners of your mouth just a little upturn, just a little bit of a smile on your face. Take a moment in the next breath to think of something that your heart is grateful for. And now we're going to take that gratitude and that smile that we all have, and we're going to send that gratitude and smile down into our heart space. Breathing into heart space and imagining that your heart is smiling. And just releasing all that goodness on the out breath. Breathing into heart space and your heart is smiling. And bringing that back out into the space. And now one big deep breath into the heart space. Big cheesy grin. And letting it go. And bringing that heart, that smile, that gratitude into this shared space together today as we mingle and chat with Eduardo and Michelle. Welcome, everybody.
So much gratitude for you, Deborah Driscoll. We're going to give you a little bit of elevated sparkulation, Deborah Driscoll. Yes. So it is my pleasure to introduce my dear friend, Michelle Goldblum. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Eduardo Placer. I am the founder of Fearless Communicators. We are an inclusive, diverse, dynamic public speaking coaching company. And we work with storytellers and thought leaders on what they say and how they say it. And I found myself in Boulder, Colorado, on my way back home to New York, unable to get home to New York, with a really profound question, which is, one, what the fuck am I gonna do right now? I had no idea what was going on in the world. I had no idea how I was feeling. I had no idea how to ground myself. And what I knew in that moment is that the privilege of being in the world of thought leadership is that there are a lot of people that I know that I had the privilege to be my clients who think about these things that I had profound questions about. And it's in that space that we started these Fearless Chats. One of our first Fearless Chatters is on this call, Dr. Kelly, who talked about what else to do besides wash your hands and socially distance, right? She's a graduate of our Fearless Force program, talking about, she's a naturopathic doctor and holistic healer. We had Jessica Robinson talk about cybersecurity. We had Allison Davis talk about heart-centered sales in this context. All of these talks are on YouTube. We have them recorded. So if this is stuff that still interests you, you can replay them and you have access to all of those. And we were thinking about this moment specifically, what are the stories that we're telling and how do we remain relevant and how do our brands remain relevant? It's in that space that we created this 3-part series called Your Digital Advantage. So Michelle Goldblum and I met back in 2012. You can go on speaker, Michelle Goldblum and I have a condition called the show tonitis. So there may be a little breakout into song that happens when we are here. The show tune is strong in her, young Padawan.
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
So we met doing a program together called the Landmark Forum, and it was the greatest single gift that I got out of that was you. A collaborator, a partner, a friend. So much so that on Monday, she reached out to me and she said, Eduardo, I feel like you need a check-in every day. You need a mental health check-in every day just to see how you're doing. And I was like, thank you for being the person to reach out to say, I have friends and I just want to let them know that they're loved. Michelle is also someone, for those of you who may not, who actually is on the other side of COVID-19. So she is somebody who is living in New York and had it. We are happy that you are healthy and you are strong and you are here. So a lot of blessings to you.
Thank you.
And just with all that as a context, she also founded Soul Camp and Soul Camp Creative. Michelle Goldblum built the first website that we had for Fearless Communicators. I'm currently partnering with Michelle Goldblum on my personal brand. So that's happening. And she's someone who is like a branding doula. She has an amazing ability in a very quick amount of time to just kind of get to the heart and soul of who you are and what you're up to. And what I love about this is going to be a presentation she's going to give us. It's about being relevant now in this moment, and then we're going to do hot seats. So if you feel compelled and inspired, like you're going to raise your hand, say, join me, I want to do it. We'll hop, and then she will laser coach for the time that we have left, okay?
Yeah.
So we're going to ping that so people are aware that that's going to happen, so that when the opportunities present itself, we can be responsible and let people step in. So with all of that in the background, Michelle Goldblum, it's my pleasure to introduce you. Yes, elevate.
Yes, I love you so much.
Yeah.
So Eduardo is one of my best friends, and I have a lot of friends, as does Eduardo. But I think that both of us consider each other best friends, right, Eduardo? Would I say? Yes. Eduardo emceed my wedding. Eduardo emceed my talent shows at Soul Camp. Eduardo, you are such a piece of my heart forever and ever, my smiling heart, as Deborah would say. So I am so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful to be here in front of all of you guys. And I'm so grateful to be freaking out of bed after 15 full days in bed. Let me be an example to all of you that you can recover from coronavirus and be okay on the other side. So without further ado, really quickly, I just want to give a little bit about me. So as Eduardo said, I'm Michelle. I founded Soul Camp, which is adult sleepaway camps, mind, body, spirit, wellness all over the country. And I see some of our instructors, Ivy, and some of our campers on here too. Which is really exciting. And Soul Camp Creative, which is a full service brand strategy, branding, design agency, specifically for those in the transformational space. So if you are in the space of doing good, changing the world in any way, those are the clients that we work with. My background is brand strategy through and through. I worked with Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer and Merck and Big Pharma. I had a whole career doing global brand positioning for Big Pharma. And then I had my spiritual, wake up, is this right? Is this the life I'm supposed to be in? No, okay, let me quit everything and burn it to the ground, go off to India, come back, let me start again. Doing what I was doing for J&J and doing what I was doing for Merck and Novo Nordisk, but doing it for people like Eduardo, doing it for brands like Fearless Communicators. So that is who I am, that is the nutshell. And I'm so happy to be talking about branding in this incredible moment that we are in. So the presentation, like Eduardo said, I'm gonna just give, the first half of this, I'm gonna give some information, but I really, really love laser coaching. I really, really love giving strategy, like on the whim, on the cusp, coming up with taglines, you name it, name programs, like, so anything that you guys have on your heart, on your mind, please, please, please raise your hand, be courageous, be fearless, and let me give you some strategy on this call on the end of it. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm just so happy to be here with all of you, and I'm just so happy to be out of bed. Okay, so let me share my screen. And as I'm going through this, you guys, if you have any questions at all, just either raise your hand or ping me in the chat box. Okay, can you see this, everyone? Oop. Yes? Okay, cool. So let me, and Eduardo, you know what? I'm like, the view that I have of my screen, I actually don't see questions. So if you could just let me know.
I'll manage that. So if you have a chat, if you have a question, please use the chat, and then we will manage that. And I think we do have everyone on mute. Tanya, I will double check that.
Okay, cool. All right, so positioning, pivoting, and getting in realignment with your customer and your messaging to deliver what the world actually needs right now. So I, said this, what is Soul Camp? It's amazing. It's coming back. Watch this space. Soul Camp Creative, for full service branding agency for the dreamers and the doers. A little bit more about us. Eduardo will soon be on here too. Okay, so age of Corona that we are living in. So, and first things first is really to change your perception, or to shift your perception into what an incredible moment we're in. So never before have we been in a time like this, where literally everyone is home, everyone is by their computers, everyone is on their couch, everyone is taking in so much information, everyone is here and receptive to your message. So never before have we known, where's your audience? Oh, I can tell you, they're not down the street, they're not at the restaurant, they're on their couch, on their computer. That's where your audience is. So it's an incredible time if you let it be, and really shifting your perception of the current landscape, to see this as a gift instead of a tragedy in the way of your brand and your business. So now more than ever, it is a time to collaborate. It is a time to create community. Eduardo, you are such an incredible example of creating community and pivoting and doing so in this way. People are looking to, have new content for their audiences. People are looking to have new information to showcase to their followers. So this is the time to be reaching out to different media sites, or reaching out to different people that you might have admired, and maybe one day you want to do a podcast with them. This is the time to reach out and be like, hi, I have this awesome content that your audience would really be receptive to. Would you want to collaborate, or can I contribute? Because again, everyone is looking to be giving their audiences and giving their community so much content that they are welcoming, new people that they haven't collaborated with or who haven't contributed before. So more than anything, the connection to the positivity here and the connection to the magic that exists here is so important, because otherwise it's just going to be a long couple of months. So, and there is a lot of magic to be had. So first things first, change your perspective. So the Corona tips. So Corona tip number one, pivot your positioning. So I want all of you guys, and you don't need to write this in the chat box, but just think to yourself, right? Like, what does my brand currently represent in the world? Does what my brand represent in the world make sense in the world that we're living in? So for instance, I hear from a lot of photographers right now. I'm hearing from a lot of travel concierge people. I'm hearing from a lot of, event facilitators and catering companies, right? Like, now what? Basically, everything I was doing is not happening. How do I become and do something else? So it's really getting in touch with with what you know, with what you have, with the assets that you've created over the years, with the skills and the expertise that you have. How can you pivot who you are to people to meet what they need right now? So I always use this example of Cafe Fiorello. So Cafe Fiorello is like one of my favorite restaurants. It's a classic in New York City. It's like near Lincoln Center. It's around the corner from my apartment. And they're a fancy restaurant, right? Like it's where me and my husband go for like our fancy occasions. And they immediately pivoted. And Juice Press did the same exact thing. Juice Press is a smoothie, eat in, take out, smoothie and green juice place, right? Immediately both pivoted. Cafe Fiorello became a gourmet grocer. So you can go to Cafe Fiorello and do your grocery shopping, and you're basically shopping from the back of their kitchen. Same with Juice Press. Juice Press is now literally selling the avocados that you can have in your smoothie. So as far as pivoting, right, like these two companies, of course, the assets that they had were the ingredients that they used to make the food or the smoothies with, right? And they said, okay, well, what do people need right now? They need more grocery stores. So let's just sell everything that we have and call ourselves a grocery store. So that's what I mean with regards to pivoting. It doesn't necessarily mean, just your messaging or just your online offering, but it actually could mean what you actually are and what you represent in the space. And again, Cafe Fiorello and Juice Press really good examples. Also, you know, time to create things that might not have been, quote, up your alley. You know, we say that, oh, that's not my area of expertise. That's not up my alley. A great example, and it's funny, I use her, she joins so many of these webinars, and I use her as an example every time. There's a wonderful girl who I know who is literally just about to launch a clothing line. So she spent the last few months developing the characters, developing the graphics, developing like all of the stuff to then go on the sweatshirts, the sweatpants, the t-shirts, the hats, right? She was about to just launch this whole entire thing. And she's thinking to herself, like, is now the time that people are buying all like this type of luxury clothing, right? Is this the time where people are doing that? And so we were talking and I was like, well, you know, let me tell you, as a mother of a 2-year-old, you know what I need? I need freaking activity books for that 2-year-old. I need freaking coloring books for that 2-year-old. I need, you know, a bunch of things with this character that once was going to go on a hat or whatever. Make that into something that these stay-at-home moms right now are needing, because I am buying activity stuff off of Target.com every single day in order to keep him busy. So again, that is a pivot, her pivoting from I am a clothing company that stars this character to I am a character that can live in all of these different things. I'm not limited to clothing. I can live in an activity book. I can live in a coloring book. And different, you know, other examples of companies and brands who are adjusting their offering, adjusting their positioning. Catering companies. So catering companies, clearly, you know, they were doing these big events, these big galas. I've been watching the successful ones pivot to, we're here to cater for your family. We're here to cater for the week ahead. We're here to create, you know, your meal sets for you to keep your refrigerator stocked and your freezer stocked. So a very quick pivot from we're for these huge events to we're for your family. We're for all of your families. Does that make sense? Same with nail gel remover, which I think is so freaking genius. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, I started seeing, do you have nail gel on your hands that you can't get off because no one's going to a manicure place? Here's your at-home nail kit solution, right? To remove your gel. So even though you might be a brand, you might be a business, you might be a company where your, you know, what you were doing no longer applies for this moment in time, there is so much unmet need that now exists that didn't exist 2 months ago, that you can create new offerings, you can create new messaging, you can create new products for this new unmet need. Does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions on any of that? Eduardo, I think
we're good, Michelle. I think let's go through the presentation stuff, and then I think we can ask questions at the end.
Okay, awesome. I'm gonna go quick. So, okay, Corona tip number 2: adjust and align.
I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna add some show tonight.
Adjust and align your messaging. So clearly, you guys, we're no longer in business as usual. It's time to check your funnels, check your automatic content calendar, check your social media things that were programmed a month ago, and make sure that what you have going out makes sense. So I've seen coaches, I've seen things, you know, different brands who haven't adjusted their, you know, their stuff that's been going out. And it's like, summer's coming up. Aren't you so excited to get to the beach? Like, it's just like, it's a type of message that is not completely aligned with our current reality. And so when I hear that, and like, you know, thank God 1-800-Flowers adjusted it, but like, 1-800-Flowers literally was sending me emails as if nothing new was going on in the world. And it gives me a mistrust to the brand. It makes me feel separate from them. It makes me feel like they are not in this with me, right? So as a brand, especially as a personal brand, this is the time to get vulnerable, to get real, to get honest. I mean, for me and my brand, I've been like, you know, we've been writing like, hi, like, anyone else feeling depressed, like, let's get on a Zoom call. You know, like, this is the time to really realize we're all in this together, right? And so especially as a personal brand, especially as a service-based brand, to really create messaging that hits your consumer where they're at and makes them trust you and know that you get them and get their situation and relate to them. And that might mean getting a little bit more vulnerable, getting a little bit more personal, getting a little bit more friendly, getting a little bit more real than you're used to. But we are all craving that realness. We are all craving that connection. We are all craving that honesty and vulnerability. Glennon Doyle is an incredible example of this. I don't know, I'm a huge Glennon Doyle fan. This is her recent book, Untamed. It's amazing. And she gets on that Instagram live. She gets on her Instagram every single day, like in her pajamas, and it's just like, this is what's going on. And like, to watch the receptivity to that, how many people are appreciating that, it's amazing. And I also, you know, use Governor Cuomo as an example, who I personally love, not politically, I mean, not even talking politically, but talking about who he is as a leader, as an example of a brand that's standing as a leader, but also honesty, vulnerably, emotional. I feel connected to him, as does every other person that I know. Like, we all are like, oh my goodness, what an incredible an example of a leadership. And if he was a brand, which he is a personal brand, he's doing an amazing, amazing job at connecting to his audience. Corona tip number 3.
I just want to share quickly, Michelle, that wrote, Heidi said that there's a local distillery, I think she's in New Mexico, that's making hand sanitizer. Right? Like
pivot.
That type of pivot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's an amazing pivot. Same with I just got I forgot the clothing company. It's like, if they have the materials, no one's buying a fancy belt right now. Like, they are making, you know, creating fancy, you know, masks, right? Like, they're using what they have. They're using their assets to create what the world needs now.
In the moment, yeah. I just love that it shows that nimbleness, you know, and some people have the nimbleness to be able to respond to the moment. And I think that creative thinking, and I think that part of what's useful about this space is like allowing ourselves to emerge from the fear and the scarcity, which is very real, right? To acknowledge that that's there. Not a lot of creativity comes from that space, right? And the ways that we're able to connect and collaborate and share, I think we start thinking out loud and we start seeing possibility and we start seeing options. So I love that.
Yeah. And I want to just say, like, from a business owner to business owner, like, I just think it's so important to let yourself feel the fear. And to, if that means giving yourself a day, giving yourself 2 days, giving yourself a week, to really just be like, wow, I'm fucking scared and I'm just going to watch Netflix and like online shop. And that's what I'm going to do. To let yourself do that. There is this weird, like, how productive are you? Like, energy going around, like, how productive are you in this moment? And like, you don't need to be productive every day. It's really, it's a time that we've never seen before. And like, it's okay to take time, you know, like, I don't want people to think I'm like, pivot your positioning, align your messaging, everything's wonderful. Like, pivot your positioning, align your messaging, everything is wonderful, and it's also not, right? So give yourself the space to feel into all of that. I wouldn't want you to be creating from fear. Give yourself time and space to feel that fear and move through that. Okay, Corona tip number 3.
Number 3, yes.
Create community, big and small. So even before this started, we have been in an epidemic of loneliness. That is why, you know, like, we created Soul Camp. I know, Eduardo, that is so why the community, you're so incredible in creating community over and over and over again. And now more than ever, no matter what kind of brand you are, no matter what kind of business you are, now is the time to create community with your people. And I'm not just talking about large scale Zooms with, you know, 100 people. I'm talking more so, for me personally, more so about a small group where people can learn and then share with each other and be with one another. It's really, really hard being separate from one another in this way. So you as a brand to just facilitate that connectedness is going to give you a lot of brand equity and mean a lot to your consumer. And it doesn't need to be, and listen, I'm someone who owns a website company. I own this stuff. You don't need the landing pages. You don't need the sales pages right now. You don't need all of this fancy schmancy stuff to, you know, create a program where community is coming together. Allie, my business partner, and I, we decided, like, let's create a leadership program. And I know some of you guys are in this, and like, there was no huge launch. We didn't even launch it publicly. We reached out to like 20 people and we're like, we're doing this. This is how much it costs. We're only going to do it for the next month because like, we don't know how we're going to feel the month after that. And like, it sold out in 2 days. And it really showed us like, wow, people are really, really craving this, and not necessarily these huge 6-month programs, 8-month programs, 1-year programs. We're living in this moment of uncertainty where we don't know what the world is going to look like in 6 months. So it's very hard to join an online 6-month program. Who knows?
Yeah.
So
for 19 payments of $19,997, you too can be transformed and go to Bali. Yes.
Oh my God, did you see Spencer's? I laughed out loud when he was like, he wrote something. But yeah, anyway, it's like, you know, I'm advising my clients to think more like 6-week, 8-week, 12-week max in terms of your online programming. I'm finding we're doing a month by month as if we're like a rental company, right? We're doing a month by month. We're going to see how this goes for the next month. And at the end of the month, we're probably going to be like, hey, everyone, was this good? Do you want to do this again? Okay. You know, so it's, again, it is no longer business as usual. It is no longer like, here's the funnel to here's the thing to here's the thing. Like world has, yeah.
And we were speaking to Brandy also yesterday in the last one. It's like, this is not for like machine creation. Like this is really about heart and soul connection. And I think that sometimes when we talk about community, like I've had conversations where people are thinking about community, all capitals, exclamation point, the musical, right? It's like, it's everyone. I have to have everyone in the world on the call. Like, I want to do this for thousands of people. And it's like, no, I think it's like really connect with the people who you are already in touch with. Like, it doesn't, like, be local, right? Like,
totally.
Start with the people who you know and who you love and start serving there, start creating there. And I think that then grows. Number four.
Number four, the age of collaboration. And again, Eduardo is such an amazing example of this. And I already touched on this, right? Now is the time to reach out to your favorite author, to reach out to your favorite podcaster, to reach out to someone in your field that you've admired or someone in a different field. People every time I get on Instagram, it's literally like, this person's live, this person's live, this person's live, like everyone's live, because everyone is wanting to give content to their community. So if you have been scared to be like, oh, I'm not, you know, as advanced or whatever story we tell ourselves, whatever lie we tell ourselves about, I can't reach out to this person yet, I don't have as big of an audience. We're in this moment where everyone is at all times looking to create and produce new content for their community. Right? So now more than ever, it's like reach out to the person that you have been wanting to connect with. Reach out to the author or the speaker or the brand that you've been wanting to, you know, collaborate with in some way. Come with an idea. Don't just come empty-handed. Come with a basket and be like, here's my basket of all the amazing content that would be really beneficial for your audience. Do you want to do an Instagram Live together? Here's a basket of all of the things that I could do to make your audience really, really happy. Do you want me to present this to them? Right? Like, come with your basket to the people that that you've been wanting to collaborate with, because people are saying yes in an unprecedented way.
I think I love that. I love that because I think that there's and I think this is an opportunity to also be smart about who you're reaching out to. Like, you know, like, this isn't a time to like LinkedIn, you know, everybody and their mother who like is in my area or wheelhouse. It's like, I think this is like really be specific about who you're reaching out to
Yeah.
I think if you're honest about your connection to that person and why their messaging or why they as an influencer matter to you, and you're able to be specific about that, and then speak about your own personal experience and what you would have to offer, I think that that really rings true, as opposed to like mass email, you know, mass reach out. I feel like it's about like really being specific. I think really being
Yeah.
specific and
Really
aligned.
being absolutely. And again, as far as like what an incredible moment we're living in, like the playing field has been leveled across the board, right? Like we are, in terms of like, you know, in the past, people have said like, oh, she has this many followers. It's like, we're in this moment where we're all going through the same exact thing in a lot of ways. So just as far as reaching out from that place of authenticity and vulnerability and honesty and connection, that is, of course, you know, the way to go. The only way I know.
Acknowledge that Patty just wrote, does the last bullet, the one around collaboration, apply for someone new like me?
I mean,
Yes!
of course, Patty, of course.
I thought that Angelique was like, I'm curious, say more about being new and why it doesn't apply. Yes, this is exactly
Patty,
what it is. And Patty, this is a
what an
beautiful opportunity to reflect on limiting belief, the not good enough, don't belong, none of that other stuff. But I just like this is the time the people like I would say make your top 5, who really matter you, who do you connect to, and just reach out in a way that's very specific and truly honest and vulnerable. And just reach out and say, I'd love to collaborate and see what happens.
Yeah, and Patty, I have watched, I stumbled across your Facebook Live, I think it was a few days ago, and I saw the reception to that and how many people were thanking you for your authenticity and vulnerability. And, you know, you just, if you ever doubt yourself, look back at the comments on that thread, because you are meant to share your message. You are meant to share your story. You are meant to share your experience. And it's very, very clear that people really want to hear it, even just from that one post.
Are we on to, is this?
Time for some hot tea.
I think it's a perfect opportunity for Patty, just because we're there. Patty, I think we're forcing you into the hot seat. You're gonna go first, just because it feels like what's happening. And so to be in the hot seat, we would want to see you via video. Ideally, I think that would really work. If you would like to participate in a hot seat type of situation and you're not on video, please message me privately just so that we can see. So we're going to do Patty first, and then let's just start seeing on the count of 3. We're going to do some raising hands. Who wants a hot seat? So Angelique, Ryan, Kristen, Tanya. Okay, so we're going to do the 4. Ryan, Kristen, Tanya. Okay, so we're going to start with Patty. Patty.
Patty.
What?
Happy, honey. So what's your question, Patty?
Patty, how can I help you?
Well, the thing is, right, I when I said new, I'm new. I think Ivy asked me new at what. I'm like new at anything that's in the public eye. Well, recently, right? So I think I did that live because you know, I was under a lot of I guess a emotional pressure. You know, all these things that just happened all at once. And, you know, when you're holding on to all these things that you want to say, you know, like I have opinions about everything, you know, and like my life is a bunch of hilarious shit that everybody else finds funny except me. You know, all my calamities, when I talk about them, they come out funny and people laugh at that shit. And so, you know, I feel like I can share that, and probably people would enjoy that because it's, you know, my calamity, not theirs. But also, you know, it brings up topics that people don't. I'm like really like hard on my sleeve kind of person for the people who know me, right? So sharing that stuff that's happening to me, I know that other people can relate. I mean, like that happened on the live, as you saw, Michelle. you know, and I got a lot of messages after that. Oh my God, you know, like all these different questions and things about mental health, and you know, like that's like a big taboo that people don't talk about. But I mean,
anyone here relate to conversations around mental health and how useful conversations about mental health would be right now? Raise your hand. Michelle, what do you see, honey?
I mean, Patty, I said it before and I'm going to say it again. The Patty Cologne show.
I'm calling it Calamity Connection.
Calamity now. Calamity now.
Calamity Connection with Patty Cologne. We're going to connect around our fucking calamities.
that's really
Cologne,
good.
the cologne, the calamity, the corona.
As opposed to colon calamities, because that would be another altogether, which we're not going to go after. That's a no queen. But
Patty, honestly, I would want your next step to be accountable, and you can be accountable to me, and you can text me and tell me when you're going to do it. To be accountable to do one of those Facebook Lives once a week. Once a week, that's all you need for now. But once a week, getting on and being like, hi, everyone. This is what I want to talk about today. Hi, everyone. This is what I want to talk about today. I want you to let go of any of the perfectionism around what you need to have created or what you need to have online or what you need to have, right? Everyone is sitting on Facebook right now. Get on Facebook. There's your audience, as you've seen, right? So experiment there. Get on there and be like, hi, everyone. This is Patty. This is what I'm talking about this week, or this is what I'm talking about today. Does anyone have any specific topics they're interested in for me to talk about next week, right? You could start polling your audience, right? But I will say, as someone who has a vested interest in mental health and vested interest in normalizing, you know, mental illness, like that is so top of mind. We are in an epidemic of loneliness. We are in the people, even if they have been, I mean, there are so many people who have spent their whole life running from one thing to another, to another, to another. And so they're running away from that feeling of depression or that feeling of anxiety or that feeling of deeply being alone. And now suddenly all running has stopped and they're like, what is this? Be the person for them. Be the guide here. Talk about your experience. Talk about what you're doing and what you're struggling with. Talk about your triumphs and your catastrophes. Talk about it all.
We're going to move to somebody else, Patty. So I think there are a lot of really great things here, and I want everyone to clock. One, it's like the truth, like speak the fucking truth, right? I think calamity connection is hot. Like I'm down, like you talking about calamities, like I think that's super hot. And having accountability. So accountability, having someone to hold you accountable to that commitment and doing that with repetition builds trust with people. And I think that's really important, Patty. And I love that Michelle offered that for you. I would take advantage of that. We're going to move to the next hot seat, which is Brian.
Brian, who saw Glennon Doyle too. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Glennon Doyle is amazing. Amazing. I love her daily Instagram. It's amazing. Yeah, we can have a Glennon Doyle like love fest another time. Yes, I love that.
We're in a hot seat, so let's dig in.
Eduardo's like, get off Glennon Doyle. Move on. So I am just brand new. Well, first of all, I'll say I've been crowdsourcing suggestions. Eduardo's already been in the crowdsourcing seat for like, what do I do next? I'm brand new to this whole like starting my own business thing. I have a brand name. It's called Hummingbird Humanity. I work in the space of diversity and inclusion, and I'm also a benefit auctioneer. So I help charities raise money on stage. And so I was really going to launch the brand this spring as a really centered around helping organizations do good by helping them raise money, and then build from there and sort of weaving in inclusion and diversity. Nobody's doing charity events. And I also don't feel like I want to sell anything, but I do want to launch the brand. And I've sort of thought trying to do messages of hope, heart, hope, and the human spirit as a starting point. So, but I'm still trying to think of the other thing is at some point I have to make money. it doesn't have to happen today, but I want to make sure that I'm starting from a place of, I'm building a foundation that I can get to a place where I can monetize. And I'm just not sure how to think about that.
Yeah. So first things first, I want to say is that there are a lot of brand organizations, companies who are doing big fundraisers, who are doing big online things to raise money. I just want to say that because even my friend, she's a personal brand, her name's Jennifer Pasteloff. She is like doing like On Being Human fundraiser, right? And like, she's raising all this money and now she's like, hi, I need to hire people to like help me because now I have all this money raised and I don't know what I'm doing. I just like started for my Instagram and now all these celebrities are involved. So I can introduce you to her. So just email me after this. But secondly, as far as getting your brand out there, I would definitely launch your brand and launch what your brand stands for right now. So, you know, and I would, what came to mind when you were talking is like showcasing different people who are living this hummingbird humanity, whatever your value system life, right? Like do almost like an interview series where you're showcasing different people who are living this way, living these values, like showcase brands, showcase companies, showcase people, showcase frontline workers who are living these values. Definitely, you know, yeah. And like, I don't know exactly what your brand stands for beyond, you know, diversity and inclusion, but like, I'm sure that there can be a really cool something series of like people live, how are they living these values while on quarantine? How are they living these values? How are they living this brand message, whatever the brand message is, like while in their 900-foot, you know, apartment? Like how are people currently doing that? And almost like putting together, what I'm seeing as I'm talking is like this like docu-series type thing. It's interesting. I mean, this is like interesting information, Eduardo, I didn't even tell you this, but Mass Mutual, who is a insurance company, they reached out to me and they found footage of my son clapping for frontline workers at 7 p.m. in New York City, and they want to use it for a commercial, and they're going to be putting together like all of these snapshots. So like this feeling of like you putting together all of these kind of snapshots of like what it means to be this hummingbird in this moment, in a moment of uncertainty, in a moment of you know, hardship, in a moment of where you can triumph, like using the now and then talking about how it relates to your brand. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. I think,
Brian, what are your three things?
My three things?
Yeah, there were three with the letter H, right? There was like,
hope, heart, and the human spirit.
Yeah, that can
I
be,
mean,
1 month is hope, 1 month is heart, the other month is human spirit, or you showcase, or they alternate. But I think or 1 week is one, the other week is the other. But I think that so that if you're in the repetition of that, I think we're in a beautiful, like.
And in this moment, and let me just say one last thing, in this moment before you start want to like selling products or sell things, because I think creating products and stuff will come from all this. But right now you are building community and you're building brand trust and you're building brand equity. So like give, ask, right? Yeah. Give, ask. Give content, give inspiration, give like a doorway into what this brand actually means, get people connected to it. And then after that, you can, you know, launch whatever product and people will be more apt to buy it because they're already heart connected to the brand.
Awesome.
So we're going to move to the next one. Kristen Scanlon, you're up next. Kristen!
I have my Soul Camp shirt on today.
Yeah.
I was wearing Soul Camp sweatpants earlier.
I've been rocking it all week. So I guess like I'm in a very in-between transformation, right? Like I'm in real estate, but yet like really focusing on mindset and like really empowerment. And, you know, I've been hosting a lot of vision board workshops. I'm doing one next week with a bunch, like I'm going to open it up to everyone. I did a lot that I was paid for this year, but this one I'm doing free. I had like come up in the middle of the night, like a few weeks ago with the Goal Digger Academy, like to eventually like create that into something. But yeah, like I'm really just in this in between, like, do I want to be an event creator, empowerment, intensati, but like community is so important to me. Mental health is important to me. Mindset's important to me. So I'm very in this in-between creation type.
Yeah. So is your brand right now, because I know you have such a background in real estate, right? And like I mean, there's so many real estate people in the world. Like what I see you being is like this inspiration, powerhouse, transformational leader for the real estate agency, for the real estate agents, right? Like one of my friends, her name is Allie Katz. She was, her background is a lawyer, and she created a whole brand basically inspiring and transforming the lives from the inside out of lawyers. And she has hit multiple seven figures doing so, concentrating so specifically on a niche of people who really need that transformation and already know and trust her because she is one of them. So you are one of them. So you, more than ever, you know the inside out of what they're going through. You know the inside outs of the stress, of the fear, of the lack, of the whatever, right? I don't know. I'm not a real estate agent, but
true.
whatever it is, right? So it's like, what I would think, obviously, is like you creating programs, you really being for real estate agents, especially real estate agents right now. Like, I don't know what's going to be happening with the housing market, but I'm sure something. So like, I'm sure more than ever, real estate agents need you. And so you really creating this brand that merges the two. Like, you are transformation, you are real estate, you are transformation for real estate, and you can help people sell their house.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. And I think that's where like my vision was, because like I'm partnered with my sister, but like I have the abundance mindset, and she's like, all right, like she keeps me accountable to get the 2 or 3 things done that we need every single day, because I have that high I personality. So.
And I think Kristen, knowing you too, I think that sometimes you have paralysis of choice.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's so many options, so many things that you do. I just, for right now, simplicity.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I love the targeting specifically, like speaking your messaging of transformation specifically to the real estate agents, I think keeps it focused and there. It can always spread afterwards, but I think anchoring that, I think will ground a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's important, because now that just makes sense of like, if I do a weekly mindset, Monday mindset with realtors and like help them with questions or bring other people in to help them.
Yes.
And you can like ask Keller, like reach out to Keller Williams, reach out to Prudential, reach out to all of these different, and create like, hey, I would love to give your, and for free, like right now, it's like, can I get in front of your humongous portfolio of thousands of, you know, real estate agents, and like give this free Intensati class all about selling the house in whatever. And then
powerful beyond measure. You are powerful beyond measure. Your immune system is strong.
Clients, one-on-one clients can come from that. So give, ask. Right?
Okay.
Give, ask. Yeah.
Our next one is Tanya Sturl. Tanya Sturl, you are next.
Hello. It's Tanya Sturl. I'm founder of Sturl on Style. So I was a fashion designer.
We just
women
lost
over 40.
Okay.
Am I here? Yeah.
You're back.
Can you hear me? Okay. So I was a fashion designer for 18 years, and now I work as a personal stylist, and I help women, specifically women over 40, to rediscover themselves through their personal style. Because to me, women 40, 50, 60, 70, we go through more profound changes, and it's like, who am I now? What does that mean for, you know, how I'm expressing myself on the outside? So I've done a lot of one-on-one work. You know, I don't like calling them makeovers because I feel like that's negative. It's just, that was then, this is now, and who are you next?
I love that.
I'm so
So I've done a lot of one-on-one, and I'm inspired to be here because my friends Smith Banfield, Jenny Powers have experienced Soul Camp. So I'm like, you have created experiences.
Yes.
So I'm looking to take my one-on-one work and create a group experience.
Yep.
And I was hoping to make it a live group experience because I'm a really touchy-feely in-person person. Like when I'm in that home with a client or in the fitting room or with them, like I can hold space for that transformation to get them through it. So now I'm feeling a little bit like oh my gosh, I want to turn it into an online course. I've opened my Facebook private group, but there's something about the technology aspect that I'm feeling like cut off from somehow. So what is your advice for just like a first good step? Like, I know the online platforms, I know the online program, I've started the Facebook group, but it's just like.
So what I see this being is like, let's just call it a 6-week course for now. So it's like a 6-week course, once a week for an hour. You get on with the whole group on Zoom, just like this, and you talk through advice, you talk through tips, you bring in, you know, like makeup designers, or you bring in like other people, like, so it's not just you every single week, but you're bringing in other people who can help reinvent their style along with you. And so it's a 6-week course that includes, you know, hour-long Zooms with you and other experts. I love that was then, this is now what is next. And like, that is what this program is called. Every hour you get on Zoom with everyone. And then what this program includes is a 90-minute intensive with you, where they literally take you into their closet on their phone and you help them that way. And you can really charge a nice amount, because not only is it a 6-week course that has like the, you know, experts, and it has community, and it has learning, and it has sharing, but it also has this 90-minute intensive one-on-one with you to actually get into action.
Tanya, I would also say,
that is next.
Shanam Kapoor just wrote, I would join your online workshop. Lisa Botwinick is a love and relationship coach for women who are over 50. Is that correct, Lisa? Yeah. So, I mean, there's an ecosystem as you speak and as you share, right? All of a sudden, abundance is present, right? So I think that that was then, this is now. Yes. I love the idea also, like the first day is like you go into the closet. Everyone goes into their closet.
No, it's not about going into your closet first, actually. Here's the fascinating part. How do you go into your closet and look at your clothes before you know who you are, how you are,
absolutely,
how you're going to merge? Everyone is always like, just go right into the closet. It's like, no, we have to start with the vision and the questions and the vision board.
It's like,
and then shop our own closet, but it's all good. It's all pretty.
It's like shedding the stories. It's, you know, creating a new story for who you are and what you're here for. It's like creating a whole new attributes for how you see yourself. And all of that happens in the group, the first 3 weeks. And then the last 3 weeks is when you do the intensive.
So thank you for reinforcing that. So the first step is just finding, is it the lead page, is it the website, is it the Facebook group, or is it just finding 10 people and just coming up with the outline, the format, inviting them, and just.
Honestly, the format, and you and I can talk separately after this about like logistics, but really quick.
Got it.
This does not need to be like so much. Again, this can be like what I did for the Soul Camp leadership. We reached out to 20 people, personal emails, got on a call with each of them and said, like, we want you to be in this. This is why, this is what it will tell.
I would love to just launch it with like 10. Like, I
literally,
so appreciate what you said about not like this 10,000 person community. Like, if I find 10 to 12 women, like, I would just want to start there.
Absolutely. And then just once you get those 10 people in, then you just send email. Here's the Zoom link.
So just make it personalized, do it on Zoom, just come up with my format, meet once. Okay, thank you. Because I'm getting all tripped up with like the Facebook group and Instagram and what's the name of it and and a lead page and okay.
Sonia, it's so easy to get distracted by all of those things. Like,
yes.
Don't worry about doing it right.
Thank you.
Right? It's like, this is literally the moment, and everyone is at home. You know what I mean?
Everyone is on their couch.
Kids are running around, drawing on the walls. Like, people are homeschooling. Like, it's a shit show. It's like a total shit
right.
show. Everyone is so forgiving. They're just like,
yes.
So it's like
dogs and cats and kids. Oh my, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Thank you for that. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
We are at the end of our session, our time here, right? I want to acknowledge that Ivy, Wolf Turk, and Carrie also wanted to do a hot seat. So those are the 2 other people that mentioned, and Angelique. So,
well, I was going to say, guys, I am going to offer free 20-minute sessions to everyone on here, like 20 minutes talking to me, especially if you didn't get a chance. So just email me, michelle@soul.camp. I'll put my email there. Especially Ivy, who I haven't seen in so long. And with the subject line pivot session. And I'll get you in the book.
At soul.camp, we just put that in there.
Oh,
So
sorry, Kristen, I sent that to you.
Michelle at soul.camp, super generous Michelle. She is unbelievably generous and has an amazing ability to kind of zoom in the moment to just really help you, as you already saw in this session. What I would love is in this final moment, as we're thinking, and if you can, in the chat function, just share your biggest takeaway. Like, what was it that really resonated from you in this call? Just an opportunity to reflect and clear in and think about what that is for you, what you got out of this session. We have, for those of you who don't know us, or this may be your first time in our Fearless space, we have an invitation for you to text the following number, which is 66866. Okay, it's 66866, and then the message is Fearless Now. So, and what you're gonna do is we're gonna send you 10 simple backstage tips to go from a speaker to a star. And it is a PDF that we have, which is all about how to just show up and be a fucking person in all the spaces that you are there to share who you are and what you're up to. So that is our special gift for you. It is 66866 is the number that you text, and the message is Fearless Now. Next Tuesday, we have Jacqueline Romano. She's a videographer. She runs, she does these things called documentaries, which are mini documentaries for brands. She's specifically in the social impact space. She's a beautiful filmmaker. She's a participant in one of our Fearless Force programs. So she's going to be leading the next question with a very specific action plan on how to get your story out there. So again, paralysis of choice. There are like so many options, so many things, a very specific strategic plan to go and to carry out your messaging. And what emerged in our talk on Tuesday, I've been kind of thinking about, well, what are we talking about as fearless communicators in this conversation? So on Thursday, I'm going to be in the hot seat. And what we'll talk about is the story of now. What is the story that there is for you to be sharing now? So that is going to be next Thursday. So I'm really excited. You know, I've been, you know, being inspired by so many people and actually waiting and thinking, like, what is the most relevant thing for me to be sharing about and speaking about? And we're really excited. It's going to be a really beautiful interactive conversation that will get you to the heart and core of the story that there is for you to share now, and then how to share that story. So that is next Thursday, okay? The story of now. Thank you so much for being here with us. I'm gonna take a quick picture. So if you would like to be here, we're gonna take a little screenshot. So everyone who is able, we're going to smile and allow ourselves to be seen. Yes. I'm going to do one more because some people just appeared. We're going to do another one. Here we go. Everyone smile. 1, 2, 3. And so grateful for all of you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for showing up for this conversation. And if there are topics of mine that are really powerful and resonant for you, please send us a message. Let us know what it is that you would like to hear in these conversations. We have some programming that we already have coming up and are just thrilled to be in this conversation and sharing with all of you what is top of mind for us and also top of mind for you. Always remember to fear less, speak free, and love more. Till next time, mwah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Michelle up on those 20 minutes. Those 20
Yes.
minutes are going to be #everything.
Yes. Bye, everyone.
Bye.